Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to Event Horizons by Illustrative Artistry, where celebrations aren't just planned, they are redefined. I'm your host, Bianca Bullard, Creative Director, Luxury Event Stylist, and your behind-the-scenes bestie here, yes, here in the Bahamas. But this isn't just a podcast. It is a full-on experience, a vibrant space where clients meet creatives, where vendors share value, and the secrets behind show-stopping events come to light. Whether you are planning your dream wedding, styling your next big moment, or working behind the scenes to bring magic to life, this show is your ultimate guide to understanding the real work, real people, and real passion behind the glam. So grab your notebook or just vibe out, because on Event Horizons, we're not just celebrating events, we are redefining what celebration truly means. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Event Horizons by Illustrative Artistry. I am your special bestest host, Bianca Bullard. I am the Creative Director, Luxury Event Stylist, and Event Planner, located here in the Bahamas. And like I promised last week, I have a very, very spectacular lineup for you guys this season 2 of Event Horizons. I have here with me the best, Miss Sandra Sutherland. She has saved me so many times over and over and over and over again. And I am so happy that she agreed to join us on our podcast. So, Ms. Sutherland, I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself and pretty much let our viewers know who you are, what you represent, and a little bit about your business and how you got into the industry.
Okay, hi. My name is Sandra Sutherland, and I got into, the name of my business is Personal Touch Design, Wedding and Rentals. I got into the business about 20 plus years ago, and it was by, we'll say, trial and error. My daughter was getting married, and she wanted something special. And everyone we asked, they were like, oh, we can't do that, we can't do that. So she said, you know what, Mommy, we could do this, we could do this. So I went and I did it. We decorated the church, and it was beautiful. And so one of my other daughter, her friend say, well, Miss Sutherland, if you could do that, you could decorate for my wedding.
Might as well.
So this wedding, this was like a 300-person wedding.
Wow.
And at that time, we used to rent tablecloths from the States. You rent from the States. But anyway, we did the wedding. Beautiful. And from that wedding, I got 5 weddings.
Wow.
From that one wedding. And that's how I started. No advertisement. The only advertisement I do is on Facebook. No other advertisement. Word of mouth. And my business has been going on for 20 years plus.
Well, yeah, because Miss Sutherland, because every time I call you and ask you for something, okay, Bianca, I gotta go in the attic. Bianca, I gotta go in the storage in the back. Hey, Miss Sutherland, how much storage you have? Child, I done expand this house with 30 times.
Just that. And now I have a warehouse.
Oh my goodness.
So, and the warehouse, when it was complete and I put all the stuff in, the gentleman was like, this ain't gonna work. You need a bigger place.
Never.
Yes.
Miss Sutherland.
It is huge. But yes, the business has evolved from, I have very special clients that I still go out there and do, big events for,
right,
or for bride call, special person. But I've been giving out a lot of my business to, especially the weddings, to other vendors. I give them, because then, okay, they're coming to me and rent the stuff anyway.
Either way, yeah.
Either way, so I do a lot of renting now. I rent everything, tablecloths, the draping. I have flower centerpieces, vases, chair covers. I do a lot of little specialty stuff. So a lot of people come to me and rent items.
So when you got into the business, like literally not planning on getting into the business, but really just doing it for your daughter, did you expect your business to be where it is now?
No. Never expected it. And the thing about it is when I was doing it at that time, when I first started out, I had a full-time job.
Because I was about to ask you, I was just about to say, Miss, don't you have a 9 to 5?
I had a 9 to 5 for the 20 years, basically 18 of those 20 years. I had a full 9 to 5 job. I just retired 3 years ago.
Wow.
So I had a full 9 to 5 job. And I would do mostly weekends, any event on the weekends or evenings or stuff like that.
Okay.
I would take on, yes.
Because I'm a nurse by profession, and sometimes I find it challenging, like doing both events and doing nursing. However, like I recently got transferred to our outpatient clinic, so I tend to work a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. So my weekends is kind of more flexible for me.
Right.
So I tend to have events sometimes starting from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And when I come through the store after my last event, I promise you, like the linens be piled up, and my husband's be like, babe, like, we sleeping on these tablecloths tonight, because I'm like, okay, I come to you very frequently to get stuff because sourcing things here is a bit challenging, because we don't have, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, because you've been in the business way longer than me. I've been in the business officially since 2019, so it'll be 6 years. So I've found it that sourcing supplies, tablecloths, linens, if you don't know someone that actually have what you're looking for, we tend to have to purchase from the United States.
Yes.
And then we have the trouble of, is it going to reach in time?
That's it.
And then if it doesn't reach in time, what is going to be my plan B?
You have to
right?
back up.
And then what if it reaches in time and what we ordered is not what we got? So it's so much gamble.
It is a gamble. That's why I got into the more rental part of it. I have a large, variety of tablecloths, all different colors. And, I normally say, why go out there and buy? Because, people, first of all, we don't think about where we're going to store these stuff.
Correct.
And you need storage.
Proper storage.
Then you have clients that would say, oh, I want an orange, but I want this color orange. Okay? You go out there and you buy this color orange. How many persons going to ask for that? So that's going to stay there on your shelf forever.
Wouldn't move.
I've bought colors that I had somebody wanted a special color. I always could remember that. And I had enough time. I ordered the napkins. At that time, there was the sashes. I ordered everything from China. So it took a while to get here. And it was a big amount. And I've never used that color again. Nobody have ever asked for that color. So I had all those stuff just sitting there, hundreds of stuff.
Wow.
Sitting there. So I get to the point where now, come on, you don't have to have that exact color.
No.
You can, sometimes you have to guide people into what exactly they want. And because you say these brides, they see stuff. Oh, I want this. I want that. I want this color. I want this special color. But really, in fact, if your girls are wearing that color, why do you want to put that same color
in the event on the table? Yeah, it's going to be right, and then it's going to be like we look like we just in a full pink room.
Thank you.
That's the only thing that you said. There's no contrast. There's no variation. So walk me through, because I know you've been in the business 20 years, so I can imagine the stories that you have.
I have a lot of stories, but my advice to a lot of event planners is to go there and educate yourself. That's number one. You have to educate yourself. I have been to so many conferences on event planning, weddings, business. I went as far as to Dubai to a conference, just a wedding conference. Went to Mexico, and this is I went to some of the top wedding conferences in the world. I'm a part of the Bahamas Bridal Association. We are affiliated with the Ministry of Tourism. So tourism sends a lot of their business to us also.
Right, for like destination weddings.
And you have to familiarize yourself with what you're doing. I travel a lot to go look at linens, conferences, and stuff like, things to enhance yourself.
Right.
And, in the wedding business, you have to know what you're doing. You can't guess.
So how do you feel about the industry? Okay, so from when you got into the industry to now, how do you feel about it in regards to the vendors and the adaptation of the community to the event industry?
The vendors are okay. When I first got into it, it was few. There was a lot of wedding planners out there, mind you, but few. So you had more business, plenty business. You could have pick, choose, and refuse.
Right.
But now the market is so concentrated. Oh my gosh. Everybody and their mama's doing weddings now, So it's a lot of vendors out there. It's a lot of people out there. And with the vendors, people have to understand, to do a wedding, I always tell people, if I do a destination wedding, I use up to 7 vendors. People don't realize you need a musician, you need a DJ, you need somebody to come set up the chairs, the tables, whatever. You need someone to do the draping, put up the arch. You need someone to bake the cake, if there's just a wedding cake, because tourists like wedding cakes. You need someone to be there to serve if you're doing the little hors d'oeuvres, stuff like that.
Right.
So weddings is a lot. It takes a lot of people. There's a lot of moving parts.
It is.
There's a lot of moving parts. But we have so many people now doing. We have people doing what was been never before: lighting, special lightings.
Correct.
These special
the pyros,
effects.
the soft, the sparks, the sparks, yeah.
And the new trend now is all these big built-in stuff. Oh my gosh, where are you going to store all this stuff?
Well,
everything, and every bride, every baby shower want all these big built-in
scented arches, the backdrops. They don't want just regular linens, right? And it's a lot of printed items.
A lot of printed items now too.
So let me ask you this question, right? I know in the events industry, we have planners and then we have executors. What do you categorize yourself as?
More executor.
Okay.
Even though I'm certified as a planner, I'm certified. I like to execute.
I like to see the finish.
I have 3 daughters that they're in the business with me also. Okay. They all have their full-time jobs.
Right.
But when I say, come, I need you,
they're
there. So I have one of them who, she comes and she would do the planning. Total. She takes over. Because she's a manager in her position at work. She comes and she just take over. And then I have one of them who, she's more like me. She would come then, she would say, come, we're doing this. She's gonna execute now. She's gonna start. We do this first, that. Then I have one who she lays back and she will listen. She's more like the camera person. Oh, I'm gonna do a video of you.
Yeah, she's a social media person.
She's a social media person. And she's gonna take the pictures, and then she might put on a chair cover. She might put on
but she can make sure you get your content.
Yeah, and then she's gonna liaison with the bride or the people. She's that type of person. She's the outgoing person.
I've noticed, in order to have a successful event, this have to be a team effort.
It have to.
And I like I said, I'm new in the business, about 6 years. I want to make a statement, and I want to ask a question. I have noticed that with doing events, and pulling on certain vendors that, how do I say this correctly? Oh, cheapest.
Marco alert.
Yeah, the Marco alert. I have noticed that let's just say this is my first time working with you. Someone recommended you to me. Obviously, if someone recommended you to me, they think that you are good within that service that I need.
Right.
But I've noticed that sometimes our vendor to vendor relationship is poor.
It is.
Is that a Bahamian thing?
I think it's a Bahamian thing because in like when we go to conferences, you find people networking, and networking is so serious. And, they're like, oh, just call me, this, that, and the other. It's like here in the Bahamas, I don't want to say that we don't want to help each other, but we need each other. So I don't know why, and I always tell people, stick with what you know. Stick with what you could do. In businesses, there's people that just do draping.
Right.
Stick with your draping.
Right.
There's people that just do flowers. Stick with your flowers. Mind you, when I did a floral course, my daughter, I can make beautiful arrangements. But guess what? No.
That ain't what you want to do.
That's not what I want to do. Stick with what but we have people that are doing the draping. They're doing the flowers. They're doing this, that, the other. They want to do
and then they
everything.
get flustered, but they miss something in the process.
I had, let me tell you, a couple of years ago, my daughter met this cake artist. Good, perfect. Oh, she was so good. So I started sending all my brides to her. So her business, started blooming. Really young girl, really moving. Then she decided, oh, I'm going to get into now the decorating with the cake. That was her death in business.
Wow.
Because then people I would send to her started complaining about the cake. I could not send anyone to her. You couldn't. After I got the second complaint,
that was it.
I says, now here it is. You are such a gifted person with cake. Why do you want to go into decorating? Because she see people out there making money with the decoration. And I'm having all these weddings, and I guess I'm sending all these brides to you. So, I want to get into that too. That was her death.
But why? Okay, but why do we have that mentality? Because I always believe what's for you is for you.
What is for you?
And if God gave you a gift, blossom with that gift. Because a lot of persons think, and I think when it comes to business, we are not business minded. I think persons get into business just for the money and not the whole picture of what a business is. When I got into decorating, to be honest with you, I got into decorating because of a bad experience that I had with my wedding initially. And God had blessed me, my husband and I, during the process of planning our wedding, to finding vendors that, Miss Sutherland, those vendors are like family to me now.
Wow.
When I say family, like shout out to Beth. Beth, Beth Sheba.
Yes,
Beth, listen to me.
Yes.
Beth, listen. Beth was my mentor in regards to getting into the events industry. She would say, Bianca, come go with me on these jobs. And I asked her before I even got into it, because I started out doing printing.
Right.
And before I got into it, I said, how is the events industry? And the reason why I got into it is because I didn't want no one to experience what I experienced.
Yes.
And with vendors, and what I noticed with persons that are just coming into the industry and really only doing it for the money, they don't know how to monetize the business, right? So case in point, if you come to me and you say, Bianca, I would like for you to do this for me, right? Now, obviously, I don't have these flowers.
Right.
You don't know that I don't have these flowers.
Right.
Why am I going to charge you to get the flowers and then charge you to rent everything for the flowers? And that is what happened to me.
No.
And my husband and I, we were so appalled. And he's like, just how these people is be making their money? And I was like, I said, I don't think so. And then I met Beth, and then Beth was like, no, that's not how it works.
No.
You with vendors never really should have to tell their customers, I do not have something.
Right.
Miss Sutherland, if I don't have something, I know who to call who have it.
Look for it. Yes.
If you say, Bianca, this is what I want this on my table. I don't have a piece of that, but I know who provide that and I know who bring that. But we have persons, and I've noticed and I don't believe in bashing persons, right? But I've noticed a lot of the younger persons, when they get into the business, it's like, oh, we can make this money, we can do this and we can do that.
It's all about the money.
It's all about the money.
It's no service anymore. It's no service.
And Ms. Sutherland, I could tell you, in the space of my 6 years that I've been in the business, I've had brides who would say, oh, Bianca, thank you so much for rescuing me.
Right.
And I'm like, what you mean? Them like, but I went to X, Y, and Z, and they sold me on this vision. And come 3-4 weeks before the wedding, they're like, oh, I can't do it. I don't think. Why would you do that?
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of young people in the industry now. A lot.
Now, my son and I young too.
Yeah, but
I have a good mentor.
But you have a good right. You're mentors. But then they have some. I've seen some that people. I guess they'll rent stuff from me. When I go to drop the stuff off or something like that, they're like, this is what I have. And they'll just have to take it. So at the last minute, they're just throwing anything at the bride and groom. They're doing whatever they fall short. And they're like,
whatever. They don't get the money.
Whatever. They didn't get the money.
They didn't care.
They didn't get the money. I says, case in point, my tablecloths, when they go out, they go press. Even the crush ones, I even press them, right? Everything is pressed. So I went out the other day. These people, they normally rent tablecloth from me, but then they didn't. And so they just asked me to do, I think it was like a centerpiece or something. And when I went to deliver the centerpieces, there was all these mashed-up tablecloths on the thing. So here I am now trying to take a picture, because you take pictures of your work, of the centerpiece, what I did. But the tablecloths are all mashed up.
And you can't avoid that tablecloth.
I'm like, look at this. And that's a pet peeve of mine, I'm like, I'm out here killing myself to make sure people tablecloths are pressed. And they go to people who just don't care. And they just throw things at them. And they take it. I mean.
Ms. Sutherland, let me tell you, I can tell you an experience that I've had. I have had someone reach out to me. They were recommended to come to me from a bride that I successfully executed the wedding.
Right.
And they came to me, okay, X, Y, and Z, reached out, told me I could reach out to you. And this is what I want. Obviously, Pinterest.
Yes.
They ain't even crop Pinterest off of the screenshot. So I know that comes straight from Pinterest. Yes. So no problem. I don't have no problem with you sending me an inspirational picture from Pinterest, because I prefer working with inspo pictures.
Right.
Because if I give you my version of something, that might not necessarily be what you want. Either which way, cool, fine. Send the quote. Dead silence. Dead silence. Now, 2 days before the function, the person that actually got the job reached out to me. Can you X, Y, and Z what?
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, pardon?
But that's your quote. I mean, but what happened to me? The same thing. I did a quote. I used to do quotes free. I did quotes free for years. Up to probably about 3 years ago, I just started charging for quotes, right? Because my daughter said, Mommy, you're sitting here. You're taking all this time. You're actually planning the wedding in a quote. You're mapping out everything they need, right? So I did that. And I I gave the girl the quote. So I misspelled one word in that quote. And do you know what that girl, they didn't realize it. I realized it. My daughter, she said, Mommy, how do you spell this word? Whoa. And it was just one letter, on it. And guess what? She cropped the quote, sent it to somebody else. The person she sent it to bring it back to me and says, "Not everything is cropped." The same quote. And brought it back to me and say, "How much you gonna charge to do this?"
Never. Miss Sutherland.
How much you gonna charge to do this, right? So you know what I did? I went up on the price.
Yes,
so you know what happened? The bride came back to me. She came back to me and she says, I say, well, you see, and that's why to the bottom I advise everybody, put an expiration date on your quote and say prices may be subject to change at a certain time.
Yeah, it has an expiration date.
That girl sent that quote all over the place. All over. All my work, and she was just asking people to price out this.
Why people just do that? Mm-hmm. When I do that happened to me, Miss Sutherland, and I want to ask you a question after saying this as well. Mm. When I had a situation, same exact situation, and I started to do my proposals. Mm-hmm. Now, I've always wanted to give my clients a luxurious experience, whereas they really do not have to worry about anything. Mm-hmm. From when they come in from the consultation and we sit down, they tell me whatever they want, and I said, okay, this is what you want. Mm-hmm. Give me your budget. Don't tell me, price it. Give me your budget. And Miss Sutherland, just how you did all of that work, same exact thing happened to me. This was the first and last time, I promise you, because Beth tear me right up when I tell about that.
Oh, wow.
When I said the client, and what happened was I recommended a particular florist because I worked with this florist before. And sometimes it's best not to say names, because not to say that you want to take all the business to yourself, but sometimes it works against you. That client went to that exact florist, and that florist did the entire job with my proposal.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, no problem. Once the bride got what she wanted, that's all that matters. But the issue for me is the backbiting with the vendors to vendors, because a customer does not have to come back to you, but you will always have to work with another vendor.
Yeah.
So I always try to say, keep your relationship with your vendors copacetic.
Yes.
Because you do not know when that vendor is going to have to pull you out of the crap.
Yes, you're going to need that person.
How do you maneuver? How do you maneuver stuff like that?
I have, since I've gotten to more to the side of rental.
The rentals, right.
I deal with a lot of vendors now. Mm-hmm. I deal with a lot of vendors. A lot of vendors come to me for stuff, But even when I have to do something, my own events, I have vendors that with chairs, but then guess what? You cannot have just one vendor for certain. You need multiple vendors,
because they could be booked the same day.
Because I have a vendor that when I need something, he says, well, I can't do it till later this evening, or I can't do it. And then I have corporate clients that need stuff. Sometimes they call last minute, and you're telling me, so I have to call somebody else. Mm-hmm. So you have to move with whoever is ready to move.
Right there.
So you have to keep a lot, at least three, 4 vendors who are ready to move at any given time. Mm-hmm. And as being such a small country, we need to work with each other better.
I agree.
And then, you have some vendors out there, I guess they've probably been burned a lot, but if you want something, sometimes they kill you with the price. I needed a champagne wall. I was all over the place calling for a champagne wall. So I had to deal with a specific vendor. And what I had to go through to get that champagne wall, because it was a last minute request for my clients, and what I had to go through to get that, And the price, I think, was outrageous.
Wow.
But what I had to do to get it, it was like, oh God, Sandra, do you need to go and buy a champagne bottle?
Yourself or make one.
Make have one made, it was just ridiculous. But then, I says, no. Because then when you look at it, you have to get someone to lift these stuff. You have to, when you're doing all this stuff, you have to consider what all it takes.
Correct.
What all it takes. But we need to really come together as vendors and really learn to appreciate each other and do better.
Okay. So we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
We're going to come right back.
Okay.
And what we are going to discuss when we come back is pretty much we're going to walk through your ideal event.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect.
Are you searching for the perfect touch of elegance and creativity for your next event? Look no further than Illustrative Artistry Event Parlor, your destination for unforgettable moments. At Illustrative Artistry, we pride ourselves on our detailed event consultations, where our expert planners work tirelessly to bring your vision to life. From intimate gatherings to grand celebrations, we've got you covered every step of the way. Our team specializes in event planning and execution, ensuring that every aspect of your event is flawless. With premium linens and decor expertise, we'll transform your venue into a breathtaking masterpiece that will leave your guest in awe. And that's not all. Make your event truly memorable with our exclusive partnership with Stationery Hut, the ultimate destination for customized gift items. Whether you're looking for personalized mementos or wholesale crafting blanks, Stationery Hut offers the widest selection at the most affordable prices in town. Why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? Visit us today and let us turn your dreams into reality. Illustrative Artistry Event Parlor, where every moment is a masterpiece. Located at Shop 6 Soldier Road Shopping Center, Soldier Road West. Call us on 603-0517.
So welcome back to Event Horizons. Bianca here with the very, very special Miss Sutherland from Personal Touch, the best. So Miss Sutherland, I want you to tell me your perfect, well, nothing is perfect, but I want you to give me your visionaries, because even though your visionary expertise of an event, because I don't like to say vendors, because I feel as if we are, I feel as if the Bahamas have some of the most creative people in the world.
We are.
So I want you to walk me through, from start to finish, your visionary expertise of, you could do a wedding, a party, whatever event. I want you to set the scene. I want to envision it.
What I always dream I wanted to do was, you see a lot of weddings with, you go into almost like a warehouse, a warehouse, the empty warehouse.
Raw shell.
Right? Raw shell. And I always wanted to, they have these, it's like a fabric that waves.
Yes.
Waves in the roof. I bought it, I haven't, never used it.
You ain't had no reason to use it yet.
No reason to use it. I bought this must be about 10, 12 years ago. It's a fabric and it waves. So it gives the room a movie, like it moves, waves. And then lighting. Beautiful lights, stars, you want things moving. And then the chairs. Beautiful, elegant chairs, white chairs with, a beautiful gold back or silver back, something like that. And then tables with no tablecloth. Beautiful glass tables or the marble table.
Yes.
That's what I wanted. I wanted marble tables, beautiful.
Different.
But then they're so, to bring them here in the Bahamas, the cost and the weight, and to have people move them. So anyway, then
that's another thing.
Another
thing with Saturday, because
the next thing. And then I wanted and we're beginning to have that, the artistry where people stand up in costumes for the event, dress in costumes and lights. But let's start from the beginning. As you enter the place,
I'm seeing.
I want it, okay, there's like a tunnel with lights, just lights hanging, little sparkling lights coming out.
Ooh.
Then there's a mirrors.
You know, it
So,
makes it bigger.
It makes it bigger, right? Mirrors. And as you walk in, so that is the perfect place just for photos.
Yes.
Photos. Then just elegant, you know, something, either a waterfall or something beautiful as you get in there. And then when you walk in the room, it's just a wow scene.
Wow. Yep.
You want that, you know,
That
flowers,
wow factor.
crazy, beautiful flowers hanging. The vases, something unique and different. And that's what I try to do. I buy
All the unique
vases.
stuff.
Because, you know, you want people to, when they walk in the room, you want them to say, wow. We want that. From I was doing events, my daughter always say, Mommy, we have to get them the wow factor.
I agree.
And it's the wow factor. And then beautiful napkins, chargers. And once you get the whole idea, is less is more in any room. Sometimes us as designers, wedding planners, or decorators, we put too much.
I agree.
Sometimes we overdo it, and it's, you know. So I learned less is more, and it's more elegant. So I think that's my vision for a beautiful room. Lots of lights. And at the end of the day, beautiful, flowers arrangements, floral, beautiful vases, something unique, huge, and plenty flowers. You want flowers hanging all over the place. All
That's
over
a
the
nice
place.
scent in the room as well. Those fresh florals.
Yes, they do. They do. So I mean, that's my vision for something really what I would love to see. Listen, it's so much if you really think about it, the things that we could do. But we are so limited here in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Because it's like, in the States have companies where you could rent all these huge backdrops and huge production pieces.
Yes.
Because events now, they're like production.
Yes. Yes. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole production now.
Yes.
So in the States, you can rent all these big, huge things. But we have nowhere here. Where are you going to store it?
It ain't, I don't even think it's just about the storage. They charge us so much to bring things in.
They do.
I think that is the killer for us. I mean, and so we could dream as big as we would want to dream. And, you know, if you don't know the who's and to get in these things in, it's almost like impossible to do it.
Impossible. Yeah, it's. I mean, you could do it, but then what you're going to charge? And then when you tell a bride, oh, your wedding is going to be like $50,000. I'm still waiting on them $50,000.
Yes,
but
Jesus, we claim it in the name of Jesus. We claim it.
Claiming those 50, you know, because here in the Bahamas, the wedding planners, we do just as much good work or even better. We are so creative here in the Bahamas.
Say it again.
Totally creative.
I think Bahamians are some of the most creative people.
We are so creative, and the same thing we do here, they do it in the States. They're getting the same exact thing we're doing. We might get $10,000 for this wedding. They're getting $50,000 in the States for the same wedding. Same exact thing.
And then I looking like, why I couldn't get that? Miss Sutherland,
I know.
People are sizes up.
Yes.
And I just think that they do not want.
But you know, every year I do more like, I won't say a vision board, but every year I write down what I want to achieve for that year. Every year I write down. And I started writing. I says, now, you know, I want weddings over $10,000.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I have to have things over $10,000 now, because after you done pay out from that, you might go home with $2,000.
That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. But you put in so much work into doing that. I think, Miss Sutherland, I really think this events industry, this is a real art, because I have seen I have seen oh my goodness, like I've seen our Bohemian creators, like I'm like, wow. I am so amazed, not amazed that they did it, but amazed that it has been done. And I think that our events industry is really untapped, because a lot of I do also think that a lot of our vendors don't get the opportunity to actually show their real and true skills, right? Because I do feel in some which way, form or fashion, that the events industry is a bit cliquey, right? And I don't have no problem with that. My motto with everything that I do, what's for me is for me. But I love tablescapes and I love draping. So for me, I tend to always, I don't like renting drapes. I would like to have them for myself, because that is my niche. I can do flowers, bits and pieces here, but my big arrangements, I go to Beth hands down, because she always, and she gets my vision. I can't draw for life, but if I sketch something out to her, she'd be like, "Oh, B, I know what you mean," and and like literally. But I just feel as if our Bohemian people are top tier creative.
We are creative. We're creative. The industry, the brides and grooms, what they need to really appreciate what they get. They're getting top tier work at a really low budget price. So instead of them, and then they even want to go lower because they wanna do a lot of stuff themselves.
Yes,
they want to do a lot. And as I was saying, my pet peeve is, one of them. When they bring in people to help you, and the people, they're like,
why you can't do it like
10,
that?
15 people in the kitchen, too much cook in the kitchen. My daughter will send me outside, go sit outside in the car, because then I get a bit cross. But in this industry, once we start working together, get our pricing right, I think we and stop trying to undercut the other person.
Say it again, Miss Sutherland.
Stop trying to undercut. If you have a tablecloth, I have a tablecloth, we're renting it for the same price. Stop trying to put it under. So
the client can come to you.
So the person can come to you. And if we keep it at one price across the board,
everybody gets a good profit.
Everybody gets a profit.
Miss Sutherland.
Do you know when chair covers first started? Chair covers used to rent for $5.
Not these $2 chair covers would be going on.
We used to get $5 for chair covers. $5. Sometimes $6 for chair covers.
Depending on the color.
So you can imagine back then. Now people have chair covers down to almost $1.
$1? I saw
$1.
I can't talk about it. I would talk about it because I would talk about it suddenly, because I saw someone did a package. Now I don't do packages. If someone comes to me for a package, oh, do you have any package? No, I don't have any packages, because your need and that person's need is completely different. So I can't give you a straight standard package. I cannot do that, because your flowers are going to be different, and I try not to create the same design for no, I don't do that.
But everything is unique. I always tell
unique to the client.
It's unique to the client. So your price is not going to be that person's price. It's going to be different, because you don't want a
cookie cutter
carbon copy of the person thing. Come on, you want something different.
And then what we do, what the Bohemian community does, oh, she do that because she do that, and then we don't want to. Every time I do a wedding, I want you to feel as if it's just your day. Like no one else is having that day but you. Mind you, 12 other weddings going on.
Yes,
but your one is the only one that matters.
That's it.
Because I curated that decor, the florals. You might have sent me a photo from Pinterest. You're not going to. You ain't gonna get the same picture. No. You will never get it, because that's my flair onto it. Yes. And that's why I love the consultations. Ms. Sutherland, I cannot do an event without the consultation, because I have to get a feel of the client. I have to get a feel of your personality. Yes, You say you want that because that's what's in now, but that does not match you.
You know, my perfect person as bride or customer is someone who will come in and tell you their vision, but they're going to say you have free reign.
Bing.
Oh my gosh.
Bing.
Let me tell you, when they say you have free reign, the customer gets more than what they bargained for.
Miss Sutherland, preach. And guess what? The experience is like they really, really get that wow factor when they walk into the room.
Yes.
Because it's like when I did that wedding at my very, very first event that I did at Sapodilla was last year, and I got booked for that the month prior to. Their decorator wasn't able to fulfill the contract. Right. No problem. And Miss Sutherland, when they walked into the hall, when they walked into that bride, she was like, I can't cry. I can't cry. She said, please, I can't cry. She was like, and it almost made me cry because I'm like, oh my goodness. And the pressure was already on.
Yes.
Because you already got disappointed from one vendor. I can't come and do the same thing to you.
No.
So Miss Sutherland, and I said to myself, I spoke to myself, and I spoke to myself, and I said, baby, even if I don't make no money off of this, because I am now working with the budget that the previous vendor,
oh my gosh,
gave them. So that is what their whole budget was about. So I had to do what I had to do. And Miss Sutherland, everyone who I called, all of my vendors who I called showed up for me.
Wow.
Miss Judy from I normally rent the luxury tables from her.
Yes.
Miss Sutherland, my vases did not reach. I called Miss Judy. This reception was starting at 5 o'clock. I called Miss Judy 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock, Miss Judy pull up to Sapodilla, must see every face she had inside her storeroom. She said, come Bianca. And she feeling. Yeah. And guess what? I could call Miss Judy right now, Miss Judy X, Y, and Z. She said, okay, honey, I got you. I put you down in the book. Yes. And that's the kind of relationship I think our industry needs to have, because if I look bad, I think all of us look bad.
Yes.
Because if this is what you putting out and you say that you are a top tier vendor here in the Bahamas, then this would all y'all could do. So we can't just be that nitpicking and that backbiting. We have
to stop trying to undercut each other.
And you've been in the business 20 plus years. I am intermediate. I am just 6 years in, and I would always call you, or I'll always call Beth. What should I do? You see, the other day when I got the backdrop from you, I was on the floor in the church and you there on the video call. Okay, Bianca, switch it around like this. We gotta try and get it. Some persons do not have that, what is the word? I wouldn't say niche. Some persons don't have that mindset. You know, they just want to make the money off of it.
That's it, yeah.
But keep in mind, now, I am a vendor. I might have another vendor that may need that exact same thing. So I have to still send them to you.
Yes.
So all of us got to work together. But Miss Sutherland, give me...
And you know how life is. Beth, I met Beth first, and Beth saw my flowers at an event. Beth somebody told Beth. Beth told, and then I threw Beth, then the person and Beth. And then from Beth to you. Then it was one other lady got it. So I got like 4 vendors to rent from me from one person.
From one person. And I just send people to you too. I'd always say hi. I get it. Let me give you Miss Sutherland number. I can just message her and let her know. I send someone to her. She can tell you, hold on, she gotta go in the attic to go get it. But she get it. She get it. But Miss Sutherland, I am hoping and praying that our event industry just continue to evolve.
Yes.
And that is the reason for Event Horizons. But
now is the best time to start.
Not tomorrow. Not next week.
Not until next month.
Not next year. You have to start
right now.
So get out there and chase your dreams. Find adventure.
We have had such a great conversation thus far, but I do want you to tell me, you have had 20 years of experience in the business. Give me your worst experience.
My worst experience was when we was having this wedding. My daughter, she was helping out. And first of all, for the rehearsal, the bride was 2 hours late. This was the Anglican Church on Shirley Street. Father say, come. This was on the Thursday. Father begged us. He said, I'm depending on you all to get this bride to church on time. He said, because if she come late, I'm not doing the wedding.
Yeah.
So, so anyway, day of the wedding, everything was going fine. The wedding was on Shirley Street. They would stay. The bride and her bridal party was on Paradise Island. We were decorating the hotel down to Breezes. So we went to Breezes that morning, decorate, and it was an outside event. So they had tents, and we were out on their in their garden area. And so afterwards, when I got back to the church, it was like 12 o'clock. I called my daughter. I says, everybody's ready. She says, well, everybody here is ready. The bridal party's ready. The limousines are here and everything. And so she said, but the bride mother's not here. So I said, well, look here, we gotta go. We gotta go. So by 12:20, 12:30, the limousine drivers was threatening to pull off. They were like, we have to go. Because, you know, we've been waiting half hour. Right, we've been waiting half hour more. We need to go. And to get her to the church on time. So I said, we promised Father we're going to be there on time. I said, come. She said, the bride. So anyway, 10 more minutes, like that was what, 12:40. So the bride, we forced her to leave. So as she was leaving, the mother was just coming in. Okay? Now listen, the mother had to get her makeup put on, had to bathe.
She wasn't ready
dressed.
at all.
No, not prepared at all. I don't know what she was doing, but the wedding is for 1 o'clock, and 20 minutes to 1, she's just walking in the hotel.
Wow.
So the bride had to leave the mom. So anyway, the wedding went on. 1 o'clock, this girl was walking down the aisle. Father was happy. Everybody was happy. About 1:20, 1:30, the mother came. And she proceeded to curse me and my daughter out. I'm talking about the biggest words in the church foyer.
Wow.
She let us have it. And then she proceeded to walk down the aisle.
Because it's her wedding.
It was her wedding.
It's her wedding.
She walked down the aisle straight. I mean, everybody was looking like, what happened here? The bride already walked down the aisle. The mother's walking down the aisle.
Because it's her wedding.
So afterwards, anyway, it was a day where everybody was mad. The bride was mad with us all day. The mother was mad with us all day because we did the whole thing. We stayed there. We did the day of and every day.
Right.
But the wedding went off. The wedding was beautiful. Other than them being mad, nobody else really knew what was happening. And trust me, I'm sure their pictures were horrible. Because you know what it is to be mad.
Everybody's vexed.
Vexed over what?
But why are you upset? This is your daughter's wedding. First of all, what were you doing? Why weren't you to the hotel on time? So which means that if the makeup artist and the hairdresser and everybody was there, they had to have been there from like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
So where were you?
Thank you. I guess she figured it was all about her. And that's why I always advise brides, you're going to know who your friends are the minute you start planning your wedding. The persons what don't pay, the persons what don't show up on time, the persons what giving you a hard time, kick them out of your wedding because they're going to stress you right out. They will stress you out. There was this other wedding we did. And the bride, she was, the pastor, he's a very particular person. And he was like, wedding day, wedding's 11 o'clock. I expect y'all to be here 11 o'clock. Not 11:01, 11 o'clock, y'all be walking up the aisle. So I decorated the church the night before. That morning I went, I put the flowers in the church. And I said, okay, 11 o'clock, 12, 1 o'clock. I could go and break down the church now, 1 o'clock. Take the flowers, because I expect her to be on time. When I pull up, the limousine pulled up just before me.
When you pull up to break down,
the limousine was just pulling. So I figured the limousine come to pick them
pick them back up.
Not knowing.
Dropping them off.
So the pastor came out. He met them to the door. He told the limousines, don't turn off your car. He said, keep the car running.
He wasn't playing.
Listen, it was like he made them walk in, no music, nothing, up to the altar. They got married, and 15 minutes later,
Just back
they were
in the
out.
car.
No singing, no reading of the song, nothing.
But you was
15
late.
minutes, they were 2 hours late.
And their guest was sitting there all the time waiting on
All
them.
the time waiting, 2 hours. People don't see, a lot of persons don't realize when they're getting married that when they're late, you throw everything off.
Yes, yes.
You throw the limousines off, you throw the caterers off, you get cold food, and then your guests are not happy because they've been sitting there basically 4 hours.
Yeah.
Probably takes a person about 2 hours to get ready for a wedding, 2 hours getting ready, and then 2 hours sitting there in the church. That's 4 hours, hungry, tired, and
Now you frustrated.
you're frustrated.
Wow.
Yes.
Boy, Miss Sutherland, I can only imagine the other stories that you would have.
I have. This is one more I have. There was this wedding I was doing. It was like 250 people. Big wedding at St. Joseph Hall. And the wedding was going good. The wedding was beautiful, everything. But when I got there, everybody was drunk. Drunk. Okay? So they started to help me break down the bridal party, and they was dancing, you know. It was time for them to leave. They helped. So one of the girls who stood in the wedding, she took one of the vase. She was taking the vase. Okay, I said, you know, they could take the flowers. The
But
flowers
not the
is yours,
vases.
not
Yes,
the vases.
yes.
So I moved the vase and put it where I had all, you know, my other vases. She came and she took the vase and she said, I can't remember her cousin, whoever the bride was, she said, she paid for these. So this is hers. So she took it. And I went and I took it back. I put it there. And trust me, I turned my back on her. And that's why you have to be so careful.
Yes.
That child took up a chair to hit me from behind.
No.
I didn't see her coming. Thank God my son-in-law was there. And he saw her coming. And he stood in the back of me. Because mind you, my back was to her.
Yes, yes.
And he break the thing with the chair.
The impact of the
and
chair.
when he took that from her, you know, she pretended to be the victim.
Like he was attacking her.
Yes. So it turned out to one thing, you know, the groom got in it, but then they had explained to the groom,
What
look,
actually
this would
happened.
actually happen. That groom could not stop apologizing.
Wow.
So yeah, sometimes, let me tell you, it's rough out there.
Miss Sutherland, I know I've had bad experiences as well, but I don't know. I think I'm an optimistic person. I try my best, and I learn from, you know, experiences what I've went through with dealing with any event. Like case in point, I have a wedding that I don't even advertise, and I thought that the wedding was extremely beautiful. You know, when we do the consultation period with our clients, we try our best to advise them, because if we are working in this industry, certain venues we know can't take certain decor items.
Right.
So obviously, if it's an outside wedding, we don't normally do draping to outside weddings. Because the elements, and then when the wind, and then they disrupt things and so forth like that. But, you know, even after advising the client, they still were adamant on getting the draping. No
Right.
problem. I still provided the draping and showed her the draping and everything like that. Okay, I that's good. That's my color and everything. And okay, cool, fine, no problem. The day of, and that bride, that was like a flip. It was, I don't like these draping. This look like hospital drapes. And I was like, you mean the same drapes that you? So Miss Sutherland, listen, I don't know what it is. I do not know what it is about us as a people, but I feel like our being people do not have an appreciation for us as creatives, you know,
No.
with doing events and putting in all of the work, because obviously we here in the Bahamas, we don't have a lot of things at our fingertips. So 9 times out of 10, we have to import things. So if you had told me during that consultation period, I do not like that, then I would have known. So
To
now
get
let me
something
reach out to
else.
somebody else who have
Yes.
X, Y, and Z, but not the day of. After everything is already done, and then we make this big explosion. And the thing about it is, I chose not to advertise it because she wanted her money back or whatever like that. Because I said, you're not going to make me look stupid.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times when you are new in the industry, you tend to bite your lip a lot just to make the client happy. But then you now are going to develop a reputation. And that same client, after you done reimburse them the money, they can still go to their people and tell them,
still talk bad
about you. And then it could cause your business to, you wonder why you're not getting any clients.
That's it.
And not to know, oh, this person told me this about you, or I heard this and that, and I heard that about you. Because believe it or not, I had a walkthrough for a potential client, and she brought one of her friends along with her that I think is somewhat in the industry. And she was like, you don't ever hear about that group about the worst vendors who not to use when doing an eventing?
No.
I said, what are you talking about? I said that, yeah, they did a whole video about who not to book for this and that. I said, wow.
Wow, that's the first I'm hearing about
And that was the first I've heard it. Like, now, Miss Sutherland, I am the type of person, I would have tried and researched that, but I didn't even, that's a can of worms that I was not going to open.
No.
Because I feel as if sometimes persons get so irate over an isolated event. Not to say that things can't happen, but I just believe that you should be able to give someone, for the lack of better words, a bly, right? Because I can understand if it's a continuous habit for this vendor to be dropping the ball. Then I blame you for actually booking that vendor.
You know, I had once this wedding. It was in a hotel out west, and the bride, she wanted, the flowers hanging from the roof, and I thought it could have been done, but once we got in the hotel, they said they don't want nothing hanging in their roof.
They have some stipulations.
The stipulation was nothing to hang in their roof. So I did a beautiful entrance. And I had as you come in, all the flowers hanging, coming
so down. The effect.
And the lights. It was beautiful.
I could imagine.
Then over the head table, the same thing. It was beautiful. The flowers, everything, And do you know that bride? Listen, that when I said that wedding, I went all out. All out. The wedding was beautiful. And that bride came and asked me if I have her money back.
Miss Sutherland?
You know what I did to make the peace? I says, she says, but the wedding was beautiful. It was beautiful. Everything was beautiful. I said, you know what? No problem. I gave it back to her. So it will be on her conscience now that you had this beautiful wedding.
Gorgeous.
I mean, I would show you the pictures for that. How I'm going to look for the pictures and send that to you. And to see how that girl came back and, I says, no problem.
Professional.
It was like, I was so calm about it. I says, no problem. I didn't argue. Nothing. I gave her her money back. I gave her her money back.
Boy.
But in the industry we're in, you have to learn what battles you're going to take on.
I agree.
Some of them,
ain't worth
it's not worth it.
I agree.
Worth it.
I agree.
Others, you could get away with it. Some of them, you don't even try to take on.
Don't bother.
You take the loss and you just keep on skipping.
Right. And you learn from it.
I had this fella, he went to my church and I did his wedding. Let me tell you what I did. The day before the wedding, they gave me a deposit. They owed me $3,000 balance. So I still, he came to me the day up before the wedding, the evening of the wedding. He came to me, he said, Miss Sutherland, he said, I can pay you the money, but it can be late. Me and him go to the same church. It's going to be late. He said, I'm going to pay you. So the day of the wedding, I made him sign a next contract that you did not pay, and this is what is owed, and this is such a time you will pay me my money. I didn't mind even if he paid it in installment.
Right.
Before that fella paid me, he quit the church. Thank you. And the sad part about it is I tried to sue them, but the fellow who was doing the summons, he went to the bride. The bride said, I ain't signed no contract. And the fella, I think he knew, the fellow who was serving the contract knew the fella. Wow. So that summons never got served. So I walk away from it. I don't think they even married now. So,
Miss Sutherland.
But there's
no rest for the wicked.
Before that fella faced me, they quit the church.
Wow. Wow, Miss Sutherland. I could sit and listen to your stories all day because I know 20 years in the industry. You should have some.
Listen,
a gallery of stories.
I could write a whole book.
Please, you probably need to. I probably write a manual and all.
The do's and the
do's and don'ts. Yes. But what I want
Mm-hmm.
what I want from you at this time is something I want you to really reach out to those that are up and coming in the industry, and I want you to give them, your insight as into what they should do, and give them some kind of motivation, because sometimes within this event industry, if you get one bad client, sometimes we get depressed and we don't want to do it anymore.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I would encourage all up and coming persons in the wedding business. You could be a planner, you could be a decor person, you could be just a day of person, even a cake artist, persons doing invitations. Whatever you're doing in this event industry, to first of all, get certified. Secondly, find yourself a mentor. Find someone who's going to walk you through this business, walk you through the proper way to do budgeting.
Yes.
Walk you through the do's and the don'ts in this business, because there's a lot of do's and don'ts. Who would be there to encourage you, like how you have Bet to encourage you. Someone who would be there to encourage you. Someone who would say, you're really doing a good job. Someone who could say, well, I don't like how this look. What you think? And they could, give you guide you in the right direction. So you don't walk this business alone. You always have to have someone. I have my 3 daughters, and trust me, they are, what I say is they would criticize. They would tell me, no, you're not doing it. They'll say, Mommy, that's enough. Listen, sometimes they just want to leave me in tears, but I take what they say and, I run with it, because you're someone looking in from the outside would be able to probably guide you. You being on the inside, sometimes you would you want to give it up, fall in, you want to just run. But I'm encouraging the young persons, or whoever, could be an older person who's just coming into this business, to be encouraged and don't just give up. Like I say, find yourself someone who's gonna help you and push you along the way, and at the end of the day, you just go there and make some money.
Indeed. Miss Sutherland, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast and dropping those nuggets, those wisdom pearls for us. I can't thank you enough, to be honest with you, for agreeing to come on this show, and I hope and pray that this reaches the right persons.
I hope so.
The right persons, and from here, the event industry in the Bahamas could evolve to what we know it could be. So on behalf of myself, my entire team, thank you. And to our audience, thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at Event Horizons Podcast and also on TikTok. So until next week, goodbye.
Bye.